Hey guys, and welcome to another Schematics update. This time we want to talk about the just released adventure pack of Planet Coaster.
Yay!
And we are not doing what everybody else is doing and showing you the pieces alone, but we want to talk a little bit more in depth, I think, about it. Guys, you have seen the pack or played the pack for like 10 minutes now.
Pretty much. Yeah, I've had it installed for a couple of minutes.
So what are your initial thoughts?
That's a lot of items.
It's a lot of items. First of all, we have, they undersold the walls. We actually have 2 new wall sets, and one of them is completely off-grid, so we can do 3-axis rotation on full wall pieces now. It's really going to lower the piece count required to make some custom areas, and I'm pretty excited about that.
So are you saying that we finally have a replacement for Medieval Window?
No.
Well, no, because it's still pretty big, but for areas where you were making a large space anyway, we can now use something like this, and hopefully the textures mesh together pretty well. They actually look pretty close. Of course, they're not going to be exact, but...
Have you tried or have you recolored the walls?
Yes.
Because what I really love about the walls is that you have 2 colors, one base color and one...
It's like the accent color? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just a slate of one color with a little bit of texture, but you can vary the texture and color, which I really, really love.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just just like the overlay, like roughness of the wall. You can change like the accent color of it, basically. It's pretty cool. I think people are going to get some really nice effects with this.
From what I've seen, I think it's one of the more powerful pieces put into the game, and
yeah,
I would like to see more stuff like that.
Yeah, more stuff off grid would be great, especially now that we have access to a 1 meter grid piece, or 1 meter grid inside the game without using a piece. Maybe we can get 2 and 1 meter width walls. And maybe even off-grid pieces that are 1 meter and 2 meter width as well.
Would hope so.
I just wanted to say that I think that this pack is pretty fantastic, because if you already have the spooky pack, there is so much more here that you can do for dark rides because of all of the traps and movable items that they've added.
Tons of new animatronics, the mummies and the beetles and the scorpions, which are nightmare fuel in themselves.
Oh yeah.
That scorpion should have been in the spooky pack. There's nothing scarier on her.
You're not wrong. But like, there's also like the gears and the crocodiles. Also, because of how close you can place things to water, you could do some really interesting like haunted like swamps.
Sure. Good idea.
Or basically like the variety for dark rides has just gone up immensely, and I can't wait to see what people do.
That's actually a very good point, talking about the water real quick, because they kind of fixed how water works,
which is incredible.
You had really big issues having set the water to a certain level. I don't know how to describe it. Cleave, can you help me out?
The water level can be where you want it to be when you're placing water now. I don't know how to describe it better than that, but you can basically put water all the way to the edge of like the break in the terrain, which was very difficult before.
I haven't done this in game yet, but Cleave posted a screenshot right when I woke up of like a pathway grid circle right on water.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing, is they seem to have lowered the collision radius for paths to water. They don't seem to have changed it at all for terrain. So I still can't pull terrain up on top of pathing that closely. However, I can put a piece of path like basically touching the water, which is pretty cool. If you have the spooky pack, and then it immediately made me think about how much better I think this pack is than the spooky pack, and I was really impressed by the spooky pack already. So this is like a step up from what I already thought was really good. Yeah, this is definitely, I've had this for 5 minutes, and I can without a doubt say that this is worth your $11, 100%.
There is just so much stuff here, and because it like the spooky pack is great, don't get me wrong, but the amount of multi-use stuff you're gonna get out of the spooky pack I think is much lower than this. There's just so many items. Like we have multiple new wall sets. Like the spooky pack gave us multiple wall sets as well, right? We got the castle and then the wooden set. This one we have all of these lovely stucco and stone things. However, like that movable wall set that's completely off grid is absolutely incredible.
We also have these gold textured pieces, which we really had never had access to before.
Oh my god, recolor them to pink, please do it.
Wait, the gold pieces are recolorable? Oh, that's really cool.
They are, and they look so amazing.
Oh, wow.
And you can like fit those into just about any theme too. Like you could do like a steel archway as if you sync them into other items.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You could use that as part of sci-fi.
Yeah.
You could use that as part of basically anything you could think of. You could keep them gold and like make them into what they're supposed to be if you want to. I know that's weird.
And they're off grid. They're off grid, so you can angle them however you want.
Exactly.
The other thing that I was really happy to see was the statue pieces are completely modular. That giant snake that we were speculating about, you can make that thing as small or as large as you want to, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And another thing, if you're like me and you like to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours building tiny little gardens, you now have so much more foliage to mess around with, and that's just awesome.
We didn't even talk about the foliage. I thought Advo was going to open with it.
No.
Best things for last. The screenshot of all the new foliage is probably one of my favorite things to look at in a video game.
Okay, fuck it. Let's talk about the foliage. There are 40 new foliage items.
I know.
They're absolutely beautiful. Like several variations of tons of new types of foliage. And they're not strictly limited to like a jungle or adventure style theme. You can layer these in with the existing foliage and create like much more diverse scenes. All like the ferns, the bushes, they're absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure if it doubles the amount of foliage that we have in the game, but if not, it's close. It's really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
As a side note, everything that we have that's new in the foliage is all green. There's no flowers. There's no blooming anything. It's all green, which I'm not complaining about. I'm just letting you guys know what's going on.
Okay, so we should, I think, take a real quick look at the rides that have been added. So they added the Steamboat and the Land Ahoy. Now, Cleave tells me these are fully transport rides, so I assume that means they're not testable.
Correct.
This makes me kind of really sad. I know that we want to keep this positive, but I didn't like this change when they added it to the transport rides, and I don't like it now. I think that just being able to do a single test run of a ride like this would be fantastic. I know it'll be pretty easy to kind of guesstimate what the guests are going to be able to see, but it's going to be really hard to build that. So just go in knowing that it is a transport ride, which is fine if you are either playing it with management stuff turned on or one of the people who likes to let guests into their park. But if you're in the very niche player like me, then it's a little bit disappointing, unfortunately. Granted, the ride itself looks fantastic. The details on it are beautiful.
The boats are very, very good looking.
Yeah, everything about it looks amazing. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's a transport ride.
I mean, you can make it work by opening the ride itself and set to any load.
And just make it go, yeah.
Exactly, but you can test it, of course.
One thing that, I know we want to try to keep this positive, but I am a little bit disappointed that there isn't, and hopefully this is something that they fix in a future minor patch, is a way to make these transport rides a little bit more exciting and enticing for people to just ride just because I know a lot of people are really, really keen to make a Jungle Cruise style ride, and the fact that peeps won't voluntarily walk up to the ride and get on it without needing to get to the other station is a little bit disappointing. I know that's going to come as quite a surprise and a sadness for a lot of people, so we're hoping that they can get that resolved.
If you think of the Jungle Cruise, it's not a transport ride, it's just a circle, and it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but you ride it for the experience.
I love going on the Jungle Cruise. It's a must-see every time I go to Disney World.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's take a real quick look at the roller coaster.
So what I like about the coaster is there are two track types. What I don't like about the coaster, and I really, really, sorry Frontier, but I really don't get why you did this, is why is there no banking offset? Every other coaster has banking offset, and it's very important to have that. And I totally don't get why this coaster doesn't have it. Sorry.
That's bizarre.
I feel like this might be a bug that it doesn't have banking offset, right?
I hope so.
If it has banking, it should have banking offset. Those two things should go hand in hand. So I feel like this might just have been a mistake.
Weird.
Other than that,
visually, I think the cars look really good. I mean, I can't speak to their authenticity. I have seen people talking about the swinging mechanism not being physics-based. I haven't had a chance to try that yet, but visually to me, they look pretty stunning. And I'm no like roller coaster enthusiast, but I do like the way that the first track type looks that has like the ties down on it.
I think visually they look awesome. I think in motion they look fine. It doesn't really matter to me if they're not physics-based as long as it looks convincing. As long as they don't do anything really weird, then it's fine. And as far as the actual look of the trains themselves, they fit the art style of the game perfectly, which is all that I really need. And they are close enough to their realistic counterparts that it should satisfy everybody, in my opinion. I think they just look great. Last thing I wanted to mention is the viewpoints.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the vistas.
I really like them.
You want to force a bunch of guests to look at a thing? You can force a bunch of guests to look at a thing.
I was very pleased, and let me double check before I say this. Oh, damn it. I was going to say that they don't snap to the path, but they do. But at least they're not like the entertainment points where you had to like actually have an additional piece of pathway.
That's why I never built them.
They work like benches and stuff. And they're really small, and you can like bake them into a piece of scenery if you really wanted to. So I'm looking forward to testing these out and seeing if I can get peeps to go to crazy places on their own.
Definitely, yeah.
I can make all of the peeps go to the end of an alleyway and look at a wall. It's gonna be great.
Short thing, there are a lot of new VFX. I really like the waterfall VFX that comes in 3 sizes, but also in a top part.
Did the physics break when you speed up the time?
I haven't tried that, TBH. But they look great. I love the lava effects. They look stunning. Also, the magma looks stunning at night.
The lava looks really good.
I can't wait to look at all of this.
I have an update. I can confirm the waterfalls look really cool.
That is a quality.
They also, what is a nice quality of life feature for placing these, they also have an offset to the effect. So you can bury the emitter and not have the emitter look like it's part of the waterfall. Very conscious decision by Frontier to do that. Thank you.
All together, I would say that's the best pack we have so far, or update, whatever you want to call it.
Out of the 2, I would say it's better than Spooky Pack. Spooky Pack was really good, and this one's better.
Yeah.
And this just makes me super excited to play the game. I can't wait.
Okay, Frontier, do this every 3 months and we'll all be happy.
Yeah, I think we can give a shout out to the lady. I was on her episode with plopping down every single piece and have a look at them and talk about them. So if you're interested in that, check out her video.
If you're interested in something that's a little bit more like here's just every single item rather than us just saying, hey, let's just talk about the pack as a whole.
So before we end the show, let's introduce ourselves for new listeners. I'm AdfoTV. You can find my stuff on YouTube and Twitter. Just look up for AdfoTV.
And I'm Blind. You can find me at stupidskull.com or twitch.tv/blindIRL. And me and Cleave actually have a show tomorrow going through some blueprints for Planet Coaster. So check out his channel, which you'll hear about in a second.
Guys, I'm Cleave. You can find me on twitch.tv/Cleave or at CleaveTV on Twitter. Thanks for listening, everybody.
One last thing. Take a look at the other stuff that we have on this channel. Me and Adfo put a lot of work into editing it, and there's a lot of interesting videos that you might find fun.
Yeah, right now, there's only one thing left. For our listeners and viewers, thanks for listening and viewing. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, we have a wonderful comment section. Feel free to use it. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.